Today has been a very bad day. There's something bad that's happened.
Your intentions were maybe not to kill her, but I think you would just reach that level that we've all got to, where we can really make a bad decision, where it builds up over time and you can't take it anymore.
Well, I got some bad news to tell you. Mom is not coming back anymore. Come on.
This was the moment that the two kids realized that they had lost their mother. What began as a minor neighborhood disturbance exploded into a shocking scene witnessed by many.
There is still someone with a gun.
She's inside.
Okay.
Where?
Where? Ex-military. She's in that house, bro. That apartment.
As the investigation progressed, it became clear to officers that they were dealing with a suspect who showed an alarming lack of remorse and possibly reason.
Because you were fed up and you were over it.
No.
Is that?
No.
No?
I absolutely fearful.
So this
was an absolute, it's either me or her.
On June 2nd, 2023, officers responded to a trespassing call from a home in Ocala, Florida. The caller claimed that neighborhood kids were, quote-unquote, mocking her.
911, what is the address emergency?
1662 Southwest 107th Lane.
All right, and tell me exactly what happened.
I got kids trespassing again. They're leaving all the toys around. They're just screaming, yelling, just being absolutely obnoxious. I went and threw the roller skates over to the other side. The kid says, I'm going to beat you up for that. And he's mouthing off to me.
All right.
Right in my own home.
Is he out there right now?
Yeah, there are several kids out there right now, and I'm fearing for my life. I'm very scared.
Okay.
In case it wasn't obvious, we're dealing with a classic Karen by the name of Susan Lorincz. And because she was, quote-unquote, fearing for her life, the 911 dispatcher had to ask if she'd taken any drastic measures to stop the kids. Thankfully, she hadn't. At least, not yet.
Were there any weapons involved?
No.
How many people are involved?
Earlier, there was about 20 kids out there screaming, yelling. Asked them to leave. They're like, screw you. Now there's 3 boys.
3?
Yes.
Okay.
And the kid saying I took his iPad and all this other shit was just in his room. The only thing that was okay was a roller skates, and I don't want to get tangled with these children. I just don't like them coming around my house. They've been coming onto my deck, my patio, and telling me, get up, when I'm watching TV and stuff. They have no business over here. There's no trespassing sign.
Just minutes later, while officers were still en route, Susan called again. But this time, the call turned out to be something much worse than the previous one.
The woman was screaming and yelling. She was trying to break down my door. I didn't know what to do. I grabbed my gun and I shot her.
She admitted to firing a shot at her door. And based on multiple 911 calls from the neighborhood, it quickly became clear that it wasn't just a warning shot.
She says she's an old white lady.
Yeah, do you have your trauma bag? There is still someone with a gun.
She's inside.
Okay. Where?
Bro.
Where? Ex-military. She's in that house, bro. That apartment. Right here. This first apartment. I need like a 49.
Despite being a 58-year-old woman, Susan Lorincz was now considered armed and dangerous, given what she had just done.
Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Turn around. Turn around. Where's your gun at? You got hands? You got hands? You're going to be detained. Is there anybody else in the house?
There's somebody else in the house. Can I just get my brother?
No, not right now.
All right.
You're not under arrest. You're being detained.
Okay, I understand.
Come over here.
I'll wait till he closes the door. I have 2 cats inside.
Hold on.
I don't want the cats to run out.
The victim, 35-year-old Ajike AJ Owens, was rushed to a nearby hospital. But within 90 minutes, she was pronounced dead. She was Susan's neighbor, and the mother of the very children that Susan had complained about. Neighbors didn't hold back. Some had plenty to say about Susan, and even the officers seemed to have a few thoughts of their own. But before drawing conclusions, they needed to hear from witnesses.
She should have been in jail. She should have.
Did you see him?
I was outside.
Okay.
I can tell you what I heard too.
Yeah.
The kids were playing outside earlier, right? In his yard. And yes, ma'am. And one of the little kids, he left his iPad on the ground. And I guess the old white lady that shot the lady, she grabbed his iPad and she threw a roller skate at him. And he went. Oh, and she came out with the umbrella too and was trying to swing at him or some shit like that.
Okay.
And then
Is that what you heard or is that what you saw?
that's what I heard.
Okay, well, let's just focus on what you saw.
And the only thing I heard was her knocking on the door pretty loud, right?
Who was knocking on the door?
The lady that got shot, right?
She was knocking on the other lady's door.
Yeah, like to see what went between the two kids, you know, like
Wait, did
between her and
you
the
see
kids.
anything or?
You gotta talk to the kids. You gotta talk to the kids. You gotta talk to the little kid and the older one.
Okay, so tell me what you saw here tonight.
I didn't see much. We were playing around. I was on my electric scooter.
Okay.
And then my friend's mom got mad. My friend's mom got mad at the lady because she took something. I don't know.
Your friend's mom.
Yeah.
Is which one was your friend's mom?
My friend's mom was right there.
The one laying on the ground.
The one that was laying on the ground.
Okay, so that was your friend's mom. She got mad because the other lady had taken an iPad.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened
And
after
she
that?
gave it back.
The other lady gave it back.
Yes, and then my friend's mom, she came and banged on the door, her window.
Okay.
Slide door. That she banged on that, and then the door.
Okay.
And then I was on my electric scooter right here, and then I don't know where I hear a big bang.
Okay.
The most difficult part for the officers came next, notifying Ajike's family.
Today has been a very bad day. There's something bad that's happened. And y'all seen it, y'all understand it, y'all experienced it, right? Okay. Y'all love me? Okay. Y'all love Mom? All right. Well, I got some bad news to tell you. Mom is not coming back anymore. Come. No.
What makes this case even more heartbreaking is what came later in the investigation. Owens' mother, Pamela, revealed that 2 of Ajike's children blamed themselves for their mother's death. One believed that if he hadn't complained to his mother about Lorincz, she'd still be alive. The other thought that if he had known how to do CPR, he could have saved her. We can only hope that they've come to understand that they were not to blame. Their mother died defending them, like any loving mother would. So it was now time for the detectives to set aside their emotions and hear Susan Lorintz's side of the story. We already have a sense of her perspective, but what exactly compelled this woman to pull the trigger on a mother of 4? But before we continue, we want to share something important. As a true crime team, we spend a lot of time online digging into public records, databases, and forums. It's easy to forget that while we're investigating, someone could be investigating us. We Googled our names and emails, and what came up was creepy. Data brokers listing our addresses, phone numbers, and more. And they're a big reason why anyone, even scammers or stalkers, can get your personal info in seconds. Legally, these data brokers have to remove your info if you ask them, but they make it incredibly difficult to do so. This is exactly why we use Aura, today's sponsor. Aura helps remove your personal info from these data broker sites automatically and keeps it off. No forms, no confusing requests. They handle the hard part so we can focus on our research without worrying about being targeted. But Aura is not just for privacy. It's full-spectrum digital security. You get alerts if your info shows up on the dark web, real-time credit and fraud alerts, a secure VPN, antivirus, a password manager, and yes, up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. Plus, US-based support available 24/7. We use Aura because protecting ourselves is part of protecting this channel. And if you spend any time online, it should be part of your routine too. Try it free for 14 days at aura.com/thevillains. In those 2 weeks, you'll discover where your data is being exposed and sold. We're not leaving ourselves vulnerable, and you shouldn't either.
So the reason I'm trying to clarify all the events that happened tonight and to try to, because really I only have, statements from people that were out there, and I would like to get your side of things and try to understand what exactly happened tonight, or last night now, I guess it is.
Good gravy. Basically, the neighbors were out there screaming, yelling. The kids were running back and forth. I had a miserable headache, went inside, laid down. They finally got quiet. I came outside and the 3 boys were there. I'm like, guys, you're trespassing. Come on, go out of here. And he's like, I want this and I want that and fuck you and fuck this. I'm like, oh, okay, little big kids, because they're all really young. And
So you say you came out and they were...
I wanted to check my truck. Every time I had my truck on one side, the kids would throw the balls and hit the truck.
Okay.
So I moved the truck to the other side, then they moved themselves to the other side, and they keep just
antagonizing you.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
horribly.
Okay, so when you said that you came outside and they were there, the 3 boys were there, where were they at?
Right in front of, that little cove that's
Like
there.
the privacy fence?
They were right there.
Okay,
Right in front.
inside the privacy fence, like
No.
on your patio or
No, they were
outside?
just right outside.
Okay.
And I'm like, guys, come on, leave. Because I wanted to check the truck and everything. And then they were like, I'm gonna tell my mom. I'm like, go tell your mom, I don't care, And
Have you had problems with them
oh
before?
my God, yes. And they've been harassing me last week. They came out they were actually in the vestibule, in the area. And they were like, wake up, wake up. I was watching TV. I'm like, really, seriously? Because, after a nice long shift, it's just when I want to hear these little run.
How long have you lived there?
3 years.
3 years?
Mhm.
Okay. And how long have you been having problems with them?
Like 2 years.
2 years?
Ever since she moved.
Is it just those same 3, or do you have problems with any? Does anyone else give?
Considering that she was now in custody at the Marion County Sheriff's Office, some facts were undeniable. For 2 out of the last 3 years, Lorincz had been involved in repeated disputes with the neighborhood children. Officers had responded to her address multiple times, always for the same complaint: trespassing. In February of 2022, she reported that Owens had threatened her physically.
Home, I do insurance, and the kids are screaming and yelling. And so it's very hard for me. And this is my apartment here. When they're all here in the front, it's really, we can hear it's loud, it's noisy, kids are out there. They're kids.
Yeah.
But when they come on the side here, I just can't hear my clients.
Okay.
That's not fair to me.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
Right to have peaceful and quiet
Listen,
and
I understand.
I'm sorry, my heart's thumping.
No, you're fine, just breathe.
I just didn't know she was going to actually get physical with me.
What the other sign?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's not cool. You don't get physical. I mean, that's
She
ridiculous.
just threw it?
No, she whipped it at me.
Okay.
I mean,
But Owens had a completely different account of what happened.
Her sign, showing her sign, like almost like she went and bought a little private property sign and she stuck it in there. So she has a sign. This is basically like ramming the sign in my face. And when she went to pick it back up, I picked the sign up and I threw the sign. I literally picked the sign up, and as I walked up, I threw the sign. I said, I can go and buy a sign too. It still doesn't mean anything. At that point, I guess she's already on the phone, and I'm being attacked. Someone's attacking me. I'm literally in the street now, proceeding to come over here. Everybody's coming.
Where this happening?
Right over here behind the mailbox.
Okay.
Her version was backed by neighbors, who confirmed that Owens had been calm and non-threatening.
Yeah, she didn't touch that lady. She just took the thing out the ground, and that was it.
What thing?
The thing, the no trespassing thing. But she didn't touch her. No, she didn't throw it at her leg. She did not throw the damn thing.
That's what London said, because London was a...
No, she didn't throw it.
No, she kind of tossed it.
Shut up, he's not over here to talk to you. She just set it down, and the lady just happened to be there. She didn't throw it at the lady. She didn't touch the lady or nothing.
But even...
And all she did was tell the lady to stop yelling at her kids. That lady yells at everybody's kids out here.
Okay. Well, I mean, I wouldn't go over there anymore.
Then, in November, Lorincz called police again, this time accusing the kids of stealing her belongings and, in frustration, referring to them as quote-unquote retards.
They stole the do not trespass sign. They've been coming, throwing bottles of water against my sliding glass door. They've actually banged on the door so hard they broke the, I don't know what, the casing around the door. And I look out of my truck, they're screaming at me. As soon as I walk up to the truck, they come up to me and just scream like idiots. And I lost my nerve today. I just couldn't take it anymore. I called the kids retards. Then the mother comes screaming at me, "Don't call my children retards. I'm going to put you in a nursing home." Like, why? I mean, I don't understand what's wrong with these people over here. I've never had an area where I lived in where they've been so, I don't know, aberrant in behavior.
Right. She even posted handmade no trespassing signs outside her home, and later claimed the kids stole those signs too.
What's going on this evening?
Both the children screaming their full heads off, running around. I had my truck parked in front of here, so I didn't have to listen to the screaming and yelling. As soon as I moved the truck, the kids are coming up. I'm like, guys, stop. They know they're not supposed to be over here. They've been told many times. They've previously stolen the trespassing. And the little kid tells me to shut up to my face. I said, "Don't be disrespectful to me." And he's exchanging words back and forth. I'm like, "Listen, my name is Dr. Lorincz. Don't tell me to shut up." And he was calling me names. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, "Go wherever you live." All of a sudden, I hear knock. His mother comes over here. "If you treat my son like that again, I'm going to rip your ass out and go beat you up." Excuse me? I don't bloody well think so. And I said, "See that no trespassing sign? Get off my porch." And no, I'm not going to. I said, "No, I'm calling the sheriff's department." And I don't know who the hell she was, but
Do you know where she lives?
I guess somewhere in there.
Do you know what she looks like?
She was black in the 20s, 30s, but I'm not going to take this.
While investigating one of these complaints, an officer spoke with some local kids who shared their own uncomfortable interactions with Lorincz.
So, were you the guys that this lady was mad about?
Yes, and I just want to say that every time, like even if we're not...
Hold on. Let's bring it down.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Every time, even if we're not on her property, and we're just like being loud and playing basketball over there because it's a basketball hoop.
I got you.
Like she just calls us names.
Okay.
Yeah, like literally, all the kids, because that's an open spot right there.
Yeah.
All that is not her property.
I got
The
you.
guy that I was telling this officer right here, this guy has said numerous times, y'all come over here and play, because they all like to play football and stuff.
Okay.
So he's okay with it, and that's where they mainly are. They're more on his side.
Okay. What kind of names is she calling you guys?
The B word. The B word. The P word. Everywhere in the hood. Like, one time the kids were playing right there, and it was his dad outside. And then she came out yelling at
Cowboy?
Yeah, my dad.
She came out yelling, and she was talking about a little girl getting raped and stuff. Like, she's crazy. Like, she'll come out just yelling
she
about.
just says weird. Like, I have said stuff to her before because one time I just happened to come outside, and she was calling them. I'm like, hey, like, relax.
Yeah.
I'm like, these are kids here.
But if you guys have permission to be over there, then, I can't really get on you guys too much. But if someone's going on her property, which is just her porch, it's not okay. I'm not saying you did. She's claiming you did.
Yeah.
I wasn't here to see it, so I can't go one way or the other, all right? If she starts screaming at you guys, I want you to go tell an adult, okay? I don't want you to antagonize her, okay? Because what happens is when you guys antagonize her, she can make you guys look bad. And you guys are just out here playing, right?
And the complaints didn't stop. In early 2023, she accused a group of female neighbors of trespassing. But this time, the officers gave her a much-needed lesson on what actually counted as private property.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Aggravated.
Okay. So what's going on?
Okay, I've got young ladies who just keep coming by and think it's hysterical while I'm working to bring their animals and scream while I'm on the phone. There's signs, no trespassing by the windows for a reason. There's no trespassing because they can't be here. And then they're standing here telling me, okay, count more. Enough. They need to be trespassed the hell out of here.
So what I'm looking at, where they're at, you can't trespass anybody from that location.
They're right in front of my windows.
But here is showing them in the parking lot.
The whole area, this whole thing is private property.
Yes. The issue is that the parking lot is a common area.
But they don't live here.
if they live in the park and they just cut through the parking lot?
No, they're not in the parking lot. They're on the grass.
That's technically part of the parking lot. So unless they're like in here or
But this is
in this
all
grass.
part of the whole thing is private property. You understand this whole development is private. Even the road is private. Okay? I have my real estate license, trust me. This is all private. Even the road is privately owned by the owners in this development. Okay? So everything is private, all privately owned.
Well, first of all, you can't trespass somebody from a road.
Okay, but they were still on the property that's private.
The other main issue is they're not here, so I can't trespass.
It was long overdue. But trying to explain anything to Lorincz, as the officer quickly learned, was like talking to a brick wall.
Sole control over the parking lot. There's 4 people here.
Yeah, but those children don't live here. I mean, they literally live across the street on the other side. They don't.
I understand what you're telling me, and I get it, but you don't have sole power to say, hey, they can't be in this parking lot.
But he's asked them to leave. I mean, you can call Charles. I mean...
I'm just telling you it's trespassing. It's the first time's civil these days. It doesn't become criminal until they're warned.
Okay, but he's already told them no trespassing.
Who's he?
All right, and he's just trespassing right now.
Can I talk to you for a second? When are you done?
He's trespassing right now. He's trespassing.
He came over to come ask us a question.
And he's
what do you need us to do? What do you want us to do?
Tell the girls not to come. They can't come on when I'm on the phone. Okay. I mean, literally, they cannot come on when I'm on the phone.
I mean, I can talk to them if I can figure out who they are, but...
I mean, he needs to get... Because he's screaming all the time, too.
Okay.
So as you can see, these confrontations had become routine for Lorincz. She was no stranger to conflict. The question is, what changed on June 2nd? What pushed her over the edge? What exactly happened that made her grab a gun and fire through the door?
I want to play on that part where Charles Owens and the other part. And I'm like, guys, come on.
Which part is that? I'm not sure. I don't know who Charles is.
Charles is the landlord. So there's, one of the cops came out and said, oh, it's an open lot. It's not an open lot. It's an abutment of 2 properties. I'm like, guys, come on. Give me some peace. Because in my apartment, there's sliding glass doors, and then I have the 2 bedrooms up front. And because it's an open concept, just you can hear everything.
Sounds travel
and
right
it's
through.
horrible. And I'm like, go play on the other side. We don't want to play on the other side. We want to play over here. I'm like, oh, good gravy. And so they just, every time they see me, they get together and scream and yell.
They live in the same building?
No, none of them live there. I was going to say, one set of kids lives there, but the other sits on the other side. They go play on your side of the road, Come on.
Okay. So they were being obnoxious out there tonight, and they finally got quiet, but then you go outside and the 3 of them are out there?
Yeah, and I didn't want to go any further because he's like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, what in the world?
Who said that?
Ajike's kids.
Okay. So who's it?
Ajike, I think her name is.
Okay.
She actually had thrown a sign at me before. She picked up the no trespassing sign and just threw it at me. She's like, here, take your fucking sign. I'm like, it's not mine, it's Charles. He doesn't want you guys here. So it's just, she's been in my mailboxes. She sends the kids in the mailboxes.
When did she throw a sign at you?
I want to say last year, just after I had my neck fused. I'm like, oh, good gravy.
What kind of sign? Like one of the ones you buy at the store, like a plastic, like on the fence?
It was a metal sign with a little metal, like a real estate sign. But it had no trespassing, so it was about that by that. And
Is it the same one that was out there tonight, or is it different?
Okay. They stole that.
Now, Susan Lorincz is claiming that it was her landlord who put up the no trespassing signs. Funny how that never came up in any of her previous complaints. And not once did the landlord report any issues with the neighborhood kids, or accuse them of stealing signs. She's clearly playing the victim, amplifying every tiny detail, like the sign being made of metal. But let's shift to the real question. What actually happened that night?
So what happened tonight that led to the conclusion that...
Well, I'm like, kids, go home. So they go home, and then all of a sudden she comes out, and she is just banging on my door. I'm like, go away. I'm not dealing with you tonight. And then she started banging so hard, everything started shaking. And I'm like, you really need to leave. And then I'm going to fucking kill you. And she's just banging away. You know, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. And since she has actually harmed me, I'm like, this just keeps getting worse and worse. I'm like, I don't know what to do with her. And she banged so hard, it looked like my door was going to fly off. And I panicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's really going to kill me this time, you know? And so I don't even actually remember picking up the gun. I just remember shooting.
Where do you keep the gun usually?
It's in my bedroom.
That's where you keep it? Like in a cabinet or something? Or just like?
It's just, I actually keep it in the trash can.
Okay.
Next to the bed.
Nobody would look in there probably, right?
You know, and I didn't think about it, and I'm like, oh my God, and I just started panicking. I really feared for my life. I mean, honest to God, I was like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm a nervous wreck. You know, I'm not supposed to be getting nervous or anything like this because I have an aneurysm on my left kidney artery. And so they're like, just you're supposed to stay calm, you're not supposed to do anything. And this woman just keeps antagonizing me. She's got the kids calling me. I go out, they're like, hey, Karen. I'm like, I have a doctoral degree. Do not talk to me like I am one of your peers.
Mm. So they don't really have any respect
no respect.
So AJ, she came to your door.
Oh yeah.
And she was
pounding on it. I was like, what the hell? My cat's went flinging.
What was she saying? Was she saying anything?
You don't talk to my sons. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, you know. And I was like in tears. I'm like shaking, and I'm like, oh my God. And I thought she had gone away, and then she starts banging again. I'm like, oh shit.
Lorincz claimed that she acted in self-defense after hearing banging on her door and someone yelling, quote, I'm going to effing kill you. If only her life had truly flashed before her eyes, maybe she'd have remembered all the hateful things that she had done that could have triggered such a confrontation.
Bastards. And then the boys are pretty. She tells us to F off and stuff. And she calls us an N-word.
So she lives right across the street, though.
No, she lives right there.
That's what
We
I'm saying.
play right here. We play right here. She's over there.
See when
And
it's like
she
kick
come
off
out
gas,
and
she doesn't want us right there, but it's a problem when we
Get off my F-word property.
It ain't her property. We ain't worried about it.
Still, she insisted that she feared for her life. But based on what we know, that fear wasn't grounded in reality. It was driven by racial bias. According to a witness, she threw a roller skate at the children, prompting Ajike Owens to come confront her. Until that point, Lorinc's behavior had been mostly verbal, once even stealing a child's iPad. But this was the first time that she had physically attacked a child, so Owens was understandably angry. But for Susan to claim self-defense in response, that takes serious justification, which she doesn't have.
Did she, try to come inside?
She was trying as hard as she could.
What do you mean?
That door was moving. And I'm like, holy shit. You know,
did she try the door handle, or was she just beating on it to try to push it in, or what?
She was just, just trying to push it in, trying to push it in. And I was like, oh my God.
Now, you had initially called, did you call 911, or did you use the emergency number when you called?
When the first time, because the kids said, I'm going to kill you, and my friends kill you. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell's going on now? I'm like, I don't need this aggravation.
Okay. So you called, was it 911?
Yeah, I called 911.
Okay. And that was before AJ came over? Okay. And the kid, okay, so we get as the deputies are responding, the call taker's talking to you, they're putting information that you're telling them into the computer, which goes to us as we're going out there. So in that call notes, there's never any mention of you saying that they said that they're going to kill you. It was more or less that they're harassing you,
Oh no, I told the lady that they said they were going to kill me.
Let's revisit that 911 call to see what she really said.
I don't like the kids threatening me that they're going to beat me up, that they're going to get someone else to kill me. And this is just ridiculous.
Are you or anyone else in danger right now?
I locked my doors, badgering me. I'm just sick of these children. Now that they're home from school, it's craziness.
All right, do you want you to avoid that person and then keep your doors and windows locked? An officer will be dispatched as soon as possible. Do you want the officer to contact you?
Please, yes.
All right.
Because what's going to happen is his mom's going to go out and wait for the officer and run and say, oh my God, I was threatening her kid.
She told dispatchers that someone was going to bring others to kill her. Well, and even if the kids said that, they're kids. They might throw out threats and curse words, but to treat that as a lethal threat? That's extreme. Now, the detective is doing what he can, reshaping the narrative, trying to find anything concrete to back up her very loose self-defense claim. By the way, if you're finding this video interesting so far, do us a favor. Hit like and subscribe and help us get to 1 million subscribers. Now, let's dive back in.
Because we talked to a lot of people that were out there at the time, and there was some statements given to us that you had taken a tablet or picked up a tablet that was on the ground?
Absolutely not, no.
Okay.
That child, like the other day, he said to me, I'm going to go tell my mom that you called me a slave. I'm like, what? He came over with a rake and he was pounding everything with the rake. I'm like, really? Seriously? So I don't know what's going on with that child.
Mm-hmm.
So
and which child is that you're talking about?
It's on the video. If you give me my phone, I'll show you which child it is. I don't know by names.
Is it one of the older ones?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the deal with the roller skate? Because again, we talked to a lot of people who were outside and kind of witnessed some of this.
They keep leaving all their toys around. The other day, I almost killed myself going out. I had an early morning doctor's appointment, and I didn't see the roller skate, and I almost killed myself. And I'm like, guys, stop already. This is not your garbage yard. Mm-hmm. The kid's got his roller skates there, and I'm like, really, take your roller skates. And I threw the roller skates. I'm like, go fetch them. Just enough. Because
did you throw that at them?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
No, I just.
And what is the thing about the umbrella? You have an umbrella?
I thought it was raining before, and I walked out and it wasn't raining. I'm like, okay. So.
Okay. And you swung it at them or one of them?
I wasn't even close. I was still inside the vestibule. So.
How can we explain that then with people saying, like multiple people that weren't talking to each other, that if they were saying that that's what they saw?
I don't know. Maybe I did step out and I'm like, guys, go away, but I would never touch them. Okay.
Maybe swat at them with it, but not.
Exactly. Okay. If I did, it was probably because I was just so, come on.
Okay. But I know at least if you did, but is that what happened? I mean, we got to kind of get specific about this because it's big. It's a big deal.
I understand.
Someone's dead.
Jesus Christ.
So that's why I say it's important to be specific and honest about everything. And I know from what it sounds like, I talked to several people out there, and it seems like this has been an ongoing thing where the harassment continues and just being obnoxious and don't have respect for their neighbors and just doing whatever they want, and it builds and it builds and it builds until you can't take it anymore. And unfortunately, it's led to this event.
It was only because she was pounding at my door, and I, honest to God, thought she was going to come in.
Okay. So we have, over in our communication center, they're putting together, because all the calls that come into 911 are audio recorded, and there were several people even before. So there's open lines, we're recording and getting audio of exactly what's being said, not to mention if your camera has captured anything, okay? So that's why I'm asking you before we go through that, and if something is different than what you're telling me, we need to clear that up now, because if it, you know what I mean, if the evidence shows something different than what you're saying, it doesn't look good, and I want to be open and honest with you.
I just know that she was pounding and pounding on the door and scaring the shit out of me.
Okay. But is there any reason why, if we reviewed that evidence, she wasn't saying, I'm going to kill you?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I honestly got heard. It's just what I heard.
Did you ever look out the door to see? And I know you said you kind of recognized her voice. So.
I never looked out the door.
Okay.
She admitted that she never looked out the door. She just heard pounding and fired. That alone weakens her case. If she was truly in danger, she should have at least confirmed the threat first. The very least that she can do now is demonstrate her stance when the shot was fired.
Did I understand?
Where were you standing when you shot the gun? And you said you shot the gun?
Oh yeah.
Through the door?
Yeah, through the door. I just panicked. It was probably at the kitchen table somewhere.
Okay, by the kitchen table. And how many times did you shoot the gun?
Once.
Just once? What kind of gun is it?
It's a Remington 380.
And after you fired the round, what did you do?
She said, ow, and I'm like, oh my God, I hit her. It just, clicked, I hit her. Oh, Jesus Christ. And I thought I just, nicked something. I never ever.
And what did you go out there?
No.
You didn't go out there?
No.
Did you call 911 back?
Yes, I did call 911.
Okay. And what did you say?
And I said, she was pounding on my door and I shot my gun. I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Okay.
And she was threatening me and she was saying, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. So.
There's always two sides, right? And there's the truth is somewhere usually lying in the middle somewhere. And I'm not trying to discredit what you're telling me, and I understand your concerns about, this is your area. You want to be able relaxed and not have to worry about all this. But again, when we review all the evidence, if it's going against what you're saying, and I know you say you heard this, but up front you said that's what she said. But I mean, then it's very important to be detailed and specific and honest, because again, if the evidence doesn't match up with what you're saying, then when we take this and show this to a prosecutor who ultimately makes decisions about whether this was a justified event or not, if you're not being completely honest now, it doesn't look good, you know what I mean?
While Lorincz continues to claim innocence, calmly and without an ounce of remorse, detectives turn to 3D modeling to break down what really happened. Here's a 2D layout of Lorintz's unit, a small lounge and an attached open kitchen. This green line shows the bullet trajectory based on ballistics, fired downward and aimed at the gate. Based on her testimony and build, Lorincz would have been standing here. Owens, meanwhile, was outside the door, knocking. If Lorincz truly feared for her life, she would have fired closer to the door, or somewhere else to scare, not kill. Her stance suggests that she aimed to hit, not to warn. This all supports one conclusion. She didn't act in self-defense, she acted on impulse. There were countless ways to de-escalate the situation, countless chances to confirm if there was real danger. But instead, she chose to shoot. Now, after weighing every possibility, the detective is ready to prove to her that she had other options. She just didn't take them.
Is it feasible to say that this is just got to a boiling point for you, that you couldn't take it anymore? And because again, if this stuff happened in the past, I get it, but we're talking about a specific event tonight where she didn't make it a point that she was trying to come in. She was trying to get your attention to say, apparently, to stop throwing things at her kids. Whether you actually, I know, listen, kids can lie. I get it. And I'm just saying, whether that actually happened or not, that's what she believed, because that's what she was told by one of her sons. So she was coming over there to, I mean, does that ring a bell of her telling you not to be throwing things? No? What specific words do you recall that she said?
I just remember her saying, don't talk to my sons that way and I'm gonna fucking kill you. I mean, that's what I heard. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Or, I mean, basically I'm asking you, what were you aiming at and what were you intending to do when you fired that gun?
I was just fearful of my life. And I was just like, go away, go away. And that's all I could think was just get out of the situation, just go away already.
One thing that I think my partner was trying to get at, and I don't know that I actually heard an answer to the question. When you're inside the house and she's on the other side of a door that you can't see through and she's pounding on the door, you make the conscious decision to aim your gun at the door and fire one round, right? Just one round?
Yes.
Fire one round. Were you trying to hit her, or were you trying to scare her off? Were you trying to make a loud noise to say like, hey, I got a fucking gun, get away from my door? Or were you I
was never intending to hit her. I just thought, I thought I hit really high, it was just like, kind of, this is the first time I ever really used it, where I was, like...
Not on a paper target.
Exactly. I was like, oh my God. So I was shaking. I mean, I was just so distraught at that point in time. I'm like, oh my God, she's really gonna freaking come to my house. And I was just like, all I could think is go away, go away, go away, go away.
Did you mean to, were you aiming for the door?
I just fired the gun. Because all I could think of is I felt like I was in mortal danger. I mean, it's just how I felt.
And what made you, I mean, I know someone's banging on the door, you feel like they could get in, but at that point where nobody had reached or been able to get through that secure door, what made you feel like that was the time that you needed to do that?
I usually have a chair propped up against the door at night.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't have the chair up there, and I didn't have the chain on the door either. So just the one lock was locked. And I'm like, oh shit, you know, of all the times that I never.
But before you decided to pull that trigger, you didn't think to try to put the.
I wasn't going near the door because she was actually physically moving the door. You know, like you could see the door moving. I'm like, oh dear God.
So the thing is, and again, I can 100% sympathize with being fed up with that kind of harassment and that kind of disrespect. But also someone lost their life last night, right? And then she has children, and as much of a pain in the butt that they can be, they're not gonna have a mother now. Okay?
I understand that. That makes me sick.
And that is, as a parent, I think it's like the ultimate reason that we need complete honesty. And I think what really, your intentions were maybe not to kill her, but I think you would just reach that level that we've all got to, where we can really make a bad decision, where it builds up over time and you can't take it anymore. And I think that you shot at her because you were fed up and you were over it.
No.
Is that?
No.
No?
I absolutely feared for my life.
So this
was an absolute, it's either me or her. I mean, it's just like, I'm like, holy shit.
But did you see her with a gun or another weapon or anything like that?
But I don't know what she had on the outside. You know, when my lights were off, you know, so she came up, it was dark out. And I'm like, great, now she's pounding on my door. Now she's scaring the crap out of me. You know, now my door's moving and I didn't have it properly secured. And the next thing I thought she was gonna be in my house, you know, killing me. I mean, that's honest to God what I felt. You know, it's not like, you know, I'm fed up or anything. This was a real fear.
But when we first started talking, you said you made it very clear to the 911 call taker that she was threatening to kill you.
Yes, absolutely.
And if that's not on the recording, is there any reason why that's not on the recording?
I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I said it. So.
Are you just pretty sure she said it as well? That she was
no, absolutely, she said it.
Okay.
She was absolutely, you know.
So the way that I see it is kind of like this. You have two things that you are looking at when you're in your position. You have this fear, this imminent fear of great bodily harm, death, serious injury, right? Imminent fear. Or you have, I'm in my apartment, I'm scared as shit, and I'm trying to scare someone off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you understand what the difference between those are?
No, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand, do you have this imminent fear that you're about to die? Or do you have this, I'm afraid of what's going to happen if this person doesn't go away? Does that make sense?
No, I felt like I was in imminent danger.
Okay. How would you define imminent danger? I just want to make sure that you because that's what the actual
imminent
law.
Danger, let's say someone coming at you, a nice 4-ton truck, you know, straight at you, and, you know, they're swerving with you when you're trying to run away.
Okay. So, someone coming at you and you're this close to danger. Okay.
Now, the first time that you called 911 tonight or last night, at what point did you disconnect from the call? You called about basically the kids were in your area and you didn't want them there.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you disconnect with them?
They hung up with me. They said, someone's on the way, just keep your doors and windows locked. And I said, okay.
But Ajike wasn't there at that point?
No, she was not.
Okay. How long after you disconnected with them did she come over there, do you think?
I honestly thought it was you guys, someone banging on the door like that, because it felt, like really heavy bang bang, guy doing it, and I was like, okay. There's a kind of shock me, like, what the hell? And she started screaming, and then, it was just weird because I just thought she is just so angry, and she's just ranting and pounding, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, from the information I got, she was angry and pounding because she believed that you had either struck or attempted to strike one of her kids with an umbrella and threw roller skates. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, again, I know how kids can be, they're not always very truthful about things. But I didn't have any information provided me out there. Mm-hmm. And of course, we're still going through evidence, and that's an ongoing thing. But nothing that says that she threatened to kill you or that was doing anything more than trying to get you to come to the door. That she wanted you to open the door.
Why would I open my door to this woman? When she has
I wouldn't either. I guess.
When she has thrown things at me, right. When she has followed me a foot behind me, I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
I mean, she's literally come up. We had words about 2 months ago, and I walked away. I said, all right, whatever. And, I said, I'm sorry, just because I wanted to diffuse it, de-escalate everything. I'm walking away, and she's literally walking 1 foot behind me like she was, I said, oh my God, she's going to pound me into the ground.
So, yeah, I mean, that's my question, though, is if she wasn't trying to come in, she's just trying to get, and again, I wouldn't come to the door either. If you're baiting on my door, wanting to cause something, I'm not answering it. But that's different than trying to bust the door down.
To me, she was.
And you said that the door's already broken, so
yes.
How hard would it have been for her? Because she's kind of a big girl, right? Mm-hmm. How hard would it have been for her to break that door knowing your own? You know your door better than I do, mm-hmm. But if it's already.
Well, we did put the extra long deadbolt on and everything. I did have the deadbolt on, so I didn't know how long the door was going to hold up.
And that's why I'm asking is because at first it's broken and now it's super secure with an extra long deadbolt.
No, I'm just saying that we did put but if you look at it, everything's crumbling. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at the door, things are crumbling. I'm like, oh my God, my landlord is 76 years old, mm-hmm. And he jerry-rigged it. Literally jerry-rigged it. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's not, I don't feel secure. Every night I stick a chair under that door to keep, because I feel like someone's gonna break it in.
When did you install the new deadbolt, or he did that? Someone else did that?
Yeah, Charles did it.
Okay. How long ago was that?
He just, I'm trying to think when the hell he did it. A few months ago.
And what was the reason for that?
She had pounded on the door once before, and kind of everything that I had fixed previously, she had cracked apart. And I'm like, oh God. Like I said, it's not the first time.
What did she pound on the door for last time? What happened with that?
I think I called her kid an idiot or something like that. And I'm like, you see the signs. Stop coming over here. And he's like, I can do anything I want. I can just go in. And I'm like, oh my God. It's just.
And what did she do that time? She beat on the door? And
she beat on the door and like, go away.
Did you call the police then?
I believe I called the police, and this when, she heard me calling the police, then she went away.
She went away. What was she trying to get you? Was she that time?
I have no idea. I have no idea what this woman is thinking. I mean, to me, she's just terrifying at this point in time. I just thought she's not mentally stable, and, every time something happens, oh, it's my children, and they're 100% little angels, and of course, you're demonized, and like, Jesus Christ.
But was she trying to get in that time, or was she just beating on the door and ranting and raving about you calling her son an idiot?
I think she was ranting and raving about me calling him an idiot.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, whatever, go away, you bother me.
Okay.
But at that point in time, I had all the locks on, I had the chair up,
Now she says that this has happened before, but the difference was that this time she had locked her doors. But real self-defense requires knowing your threat, and that starts by seeing it, not blindly pulling the trigger. Susan Lorincz was charged with manslaughter with a firearm, culpable negligence, battery, and 2 counts of assault. Her entire defense centered on Florida's Stand Your Ground law, which allows the use of deadly force in perceived danger. But that defense failed. Why? Because she never verified a threat. She didn't assess danger, she assumed it, and she acted on impulse. In November of 2024, Susan Lorincz was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Now, if you think this case was horrific, you need to check out my video on the psycho who did the unthinkable during interrogation.